Chapter 1191 Becoming a Hero. Of course, Zihua was long aware that Peng Yu and Qiaonan simply did not know each other. Qiaonan could not be the spy sent by Peng Yu to make fun of them. Yes, I don't know how the Peng family teaches him. Elder Lin sighed. Peng Yu looked fairer, more crisp-looking and obedient than Zai Sheng. As a normal elderly person, Elder Lin favored Peng Yu, who had an obedient image, more at first sight. Fortunately, Peng Yu firmly believed the logic that all academics were useless. Clearly, he knew who Elder Lin was, but he refused to buy it. He refused to look up to Elder Lin and the latter's capability. Instead of working in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Peng Yu had ambitions that were totally in contrast with his looks. He wanted to be a general and wished to kill. It was a sin to kill an individual but a hero to kill millions. Peng Yu was very clear about his ambitions since he was a child. He wanted to be a hero that could slaughter millions of people. Between so many careers, only policemen and soldiers could come into contact with guns, and only soldiers could take the enemy's lives in various situations. From Peng Yu's perspective and position, he knew that his hands could not be smeared with the blood of ordinary people if he wanted to fulfill his wish. He did not need to use real knives and guns. Sometimes, it was more formidable and blood would be shed faster if he were to kill silently without using any hard weapons. In Peng Yu's lifetime, he had met a teacher who liked psychological research very much. He once assessed Peng Yu and said that if it were in ancient times, he was most unsuited for one profession: executioner. The homicide Peng Yu wanted to commit was not one without any difficulty. The dark side in his heart made him a ready strategist. In short, there was a problem with this person's mind. He was sick and abnormal. The problem was that the Peng family and Peng Yu were not bothered about this. Even if they were aware that Peng Yu was a dangerous individual, no one in the world had the right to do anything to him before he did anything harmful to the country and the people's interests. No one could prevent Peng Yu from having the chance to act according to his wishes and do those evil matters. Others were not aware of Peng Yu's situation but not Zai Sheng. It was not because of other reasons. It was because the teacher who gave Peng Yu such an assessment was also Zai Sheng's teacher. In contrast with Peng Yu, who did not keep in contact with his former teachers once he graduated, Zai Sheng would occasionally return to the school. Naturally, he seemed more human than Peng Yu. The teachers were more willing to chat about the gossip between some students after the students had graduated. When he saw Elder Lin Sai, Zai Sheng inevitably recalled what his teacher said to him before. Peng Yu was the type of person who would not turn back and look at you again once you have lost your value. As such, although Lin Yuankong liked Peng Yu, this obedient child, initially, after a while, Elder Lin no longer spent too much effort on Peng Yu. He had gradually realized that Peng Yu's heart was the complete opposite of his cheerful and gentle exterior. Elder Lin was also very arrogant. It was seldom that he thought highly of a junior, yet this junior did not look up to him. Elder Lin was not hard for it. Facing Peng Yu, this kind of child who would drive someone to the grave, no matter how good-tempered Elder Lin was, he was not willing to be nice to Peng Yu. He chose to distance himself from Peng Yu as much as possible. I've not seen him for 5 years. This child has become more astray than before. I am thinking. He is so young, yet his heart is already so deformed. Most likely, the Peng family did not know how to teach their children. Elder Lin exclaimed regretfully. If Peng Yu was not so evil and malicious, he would be the most intelligent child amongst those that he had met before. He had been led astray by the Peng family. This was a sheer pity. Miao Jing rubbed her forehead. What's there to be pitiful about? Why do I feel scared after knowing that someone like that exists in the world? That child was younger than Zai Sheng by a couple of years, yet he was so scheming and malicious. He was too annoying. In Miao Jing's lifetime, the worst person that she had met was Qi Minlin. However, upon hearing what Peng Yu did to her son, Miao Jing realized that besides being a little too arrogant when she was young and acting pitiful in front of Zai Yawai, Qi Minlin was considered nothing in comparison to Peng Yu. She did not have anything to show off at all. If Qi Minlin was not the one who competed with her for Zai Yawai in the past, Zai Sheng and Zai Hua, these two children, would not exist in this world. She was afraid that she would no longer exist in this world too. In such a peaceful and lawful era, someone was thinking only about killing, killing, and killing. Miao Jing could not understand. Wasn't it good to lead a peaceful life? Didn't one feel terrible to kill people? Having such thoughts in his mind, was Peng Yu's brain leaking? There are all kinds of fish in the sea. He is annoying to you but likable to many mothers. This was the thing that Zai Sheng felt most helpless about. If everyone had upright worldly views and values, Zai Sheng would not have encountered such a troublesome matter this time. Zai Sheng, why don't I return to the army? Her status and position were not higher than that of Zai Sheng, and she could not win against Peng Yu either. Nevertheless, if she was in the army, she could not only act as a decoy but also become a substitute for Zai Sheng if anything were to happen. With her help, it would be much better than Zai Sheng fighting a lone battle. There's no need to. He took a glance at the diapers in Zai Hua's hands. Peng Yu is certainly a little crafty but everyone has weaknesses and shortcomings. I have been too lax with him because he left Pingcheng for so long. The difference was that Peng Yu had returned to the capital earlier than him by 5 years. It seemed that Peng Yu had never let his guard down. This was their first exchange and Peng Yu behaved as if he understood him exceptionally well. No one would understand oneself better than his enemy. This saying proved that Peng Yu had been taking him as an enemy. He had been paying attention to his every action without a moment of rest. This was despite Peng Yu being in the capital for the past 5 years and him in Pingcheng all this while. It was an accident. Moreover, I have encountered some trouble this time. Fortunately, I have resolved it very quickly. No major problems came out of it. Did you think that Peng Yu did not suffer any loss? Zai Sheng had never taken Peng Yu as his opponent. It was not because he did not know Peng Yu's capability. He just felt that it was unnecessary. Of course, Peng Yu dared to take action on him this time. After Zai Sheng resolved the problem, he even retaliated and made Peng Yu suffer miserable losses. He had wanted to ambush Zai Sheng and get away from it. It was really wishful thinking on Peng Yu's part. The corners of Elder Lin's mouth curled up. You have done quite well. Otherwise, I would need to have a talk with your family's old master and your father. There are 2 children in the Zai family and you're the only man. What have they been doing if they did not nurture you wholeheartedly? They could not even bring up a child well. Could he still rely on the Zai family to raise the 3 little grand disciples of his? Chapter 1192 The 3 Babies' Names. Fortunately, Zai Sheng's performance did not disappoint him. Peng Yu could be a good, bad, crooked, or evil one. Nevertheless, as long as Zai Sheng was capable and willing to protect Jiaonan and the 3 babies, even if Peng Yu was the great sage, heaven's equal, who had invincible powers, Zai Sheng would be able to transform into the Gautama Buddha, who could stop him from escaping out of the Wuzi Hill. As a man, being able to protect his wife and children was the minimal expectation of him. All right. When you next return to the army, find this person and have a talk with him. Elder Lin tore a page from the notebook that he carried with him and passed it to Zai Sheng. There was a contact number on it. Remember. You have to protect my little disciple and 3 grand disciples well. I have not seen Peng Yu, that young lad, for 5 years. No one is clear what his bottom line is, so you have to try to prevent any unexpected situations from occurring. Understand? By right, everyone was Chinese and also soldiers. They should not implicate their family and children. One should not lay his hands on the other party's family for the sake of career advancement and such. However, no one could accurately predict this kind of matter. Regardless of whether Peng Yu dared to have such thoughts, the safety of Jiaonan and the three babies could only be assured if Zai Sheng was powerful enough. It was still the same words. It was not so easy to be a master. Elder Lin was taking Jiaonan and the three babies as his own children to dote on and protect. Now, Elder Lin was also beginning to take action to handle matters he was unwilling to do so in the past. He had been unwilling to return to the capital, but he still landed here. Even though this was a junior that he once thought highly of and there was only 1 in a million chance that he would lay his hands on Jiaonan and the three babies, Elder Lin was not willing to give Peng Yu a chance to do anything funny. He would rather pass the contacts in his hands to Zai Sheng, this disciple-in-law, to make him more powerful. Looking at the telephone number, Zai Sheng was very shocked. Even Zai Sheng did not expect Jiaonan to win Elder Lin's favor to this extent, let alone Zai Hua and Miao Jing. He was surprised that Elder Lin was willing to go so far for Jiaonan. After all, matters of the past had happened so long ago. In addition, Elder Lin was also a very crafty man when he was young. Everyone knew that Elder Lin was very formidable and was someone with means and resources. The interpersonal connections that he held were resources that would make one jealous. The problem was that no one was exceptionally close to Elder Lin. As such, no one knew the true value of Elder Lin's assets. They could not even estimate it. Initially, everyone knew about Elder Lin's situation. Hence, many feared and respected him. They definitely would not look down on Elder Lin just because he did not have any kin. On the contrary, given Elder Lin's situation, many people wanted to make use of the children in their family to make Elder Lin one of their own. Of course, all these people failed to do so. After a long time, many people had forgotten about his glamorous past. As a result, the legend created by Elder Lin when he was young drowned in the currents of time. It was only until he received the contact information that Zai Sheng started to slowly realize that he seemed to have a chance to witness the infinite glory of Elder Lin because of Jiaonan. Don't worry. I will definitely take care of and protect Nan Nan and the three babies. This is my responsibility and also my duty. He did not marry Nan Nan because of Elder Lin. Elder Lin looked at Zai Sheng proudly. He did not speak from his heart. I don't really like you. I think that my little disciple can find someone better. However, I have never doubted your feelings for my family's little disciple. It was not unintentional that everyone had forgotten about him. This was all deliberately arranged by Elder Lin. When Zai Sheng acted as the bridge between his little disciple and him, he had never thought that it would have such an effect one day. Regardless, he was willing to guide and teach Zai Sheng, this disciple-in-law. He took it that he was rewarding Zai Sheng for finding him his favorite disciple when the latter hit the mark by a fluke many years ago. It has been so long. Have you all named my three little grand disciples? Regarding this, Elder Lin was going to feel resentful soon. The three babies did not have names yet. This affected him in gifting them. De Bao is called Zai Yi. Er Bao is called Zai Xin. As for San Bao, Elder Lin, how about you give her a name? This was the outcome of the discussion between Old Master Zai Sheng, and Zai Yaowai. Besides the Zai family, almost everyone in their social circle was aware of how much Elder Lin liked the three children. It was also after the three babies' full-month celebration that people in the social circle found out that Jiaonan was not only good at giving birth but also very lucky. She was actually the young disciple that Elder Lin doted on most. Hence, she was also a little character who had quite some background. At the thought that Elder Lin was childless and thus so good to Jiaonan, the three men of the Zai family unanimously agreed that perhaps they could let Elder Lin name San Bao. Elder Lin trembled slightly. What did you say? Youngster, don't talk nonsense. I know you are kind, but you can't casually talk about this kind of thing. Who would let other adults decide on the name of their own family's children? To them, this was a matter with great implications. Zai Sheng was not the first one that let Elder Lin name his children, but he was the only one that made Elder Lin reveal such an emotional side of him. Elder Lin was childless and many people had thoughts to either acknowledge fictive kinship with Elder Lin or become his disciple. They intended to let Elder Lin and the Lin family adopt their children directly. The surprise of letting Elder Lin give the name was due to this. Elder Lin, don't worry. This was discussed by our family's old master and me yesterday. My dad knows and he doesn't object to it. Come to think of it, Elder Lin likes Sanbao more, no. After all, Sanbao was the only girl. Rare items were more precious. Sanbao was more cherished than her two elder brothers. Elder Lin's white mustache moved. He seemed to have considered for a long time. With some tears in his eyes, he said, "Let's call her Zai Yu." "Which Yu?" Zai Hua asked curiously. Once the names of the three babies were firmed up, they had to register them in the household register immediately. Which Yu was that? They had to clarify. The meaning of beautiful jade. Elder Lin explained. Elder Lin was once young. He had also looked forward to having love and kinship before. In the past, when he saw other men carrying fat and chubby daughters in their arms, Elder Lin thought that he would name his daughter Lin Yu if he was going to have one in the future. This was because his daughter would be the most beautiful piece of exotic jade in his world, and this was something that would not change. As he was already in the closing years of his life, Elder Lin had long buried the name Yu deeply in his heart. Unexpectedly, Zai Sheng's words had fulfilled one of Elder Lin's dreams when the latter was young. Although he did not have a daughter by the name of Lin Yu, he had a grand disciple by the name of Zai Yu. This is a good name. Zai Hua clapped her hands and made the final say. The names that she came up with did not meet the standards. When she heard the name from Elder Lin, she found it especially meaningful and agreed without a further word. Chapter 1193 Little Fish. When I hear this name, I thought of the pet name Little Fish. Sanbao is quick-tempered and likes to blow bubbles. This name suits her very well. As Sanbao liked to blow bubbles, given Zai Hua's cultural standards, her first reaction was naturally the name Zai Yu, fish. Once she heard Elder Lin mention the name, Miao Jing felt paralyzed. Hua, if you are married to Dongzi and have children in the future, remember not to participate in the naming of my maternal grandchild. Let the in-laws help you name them if they can't. Let Dongzi wreck his brains. You just have to pick the one that you think is the best from the pile of names. If she were to let Hua take the initiative to name her maternal grandchild, she was afraid that her grandchild's name would be reduced to flowers, birds, fishes, and worms kind of names. Zai Hua knew that she had been looked down upon by her own biological mother. She had really misunderstood when she heard Sanbao's name. Facing her biological mother's distrustful glances, Zai Hua did not have a choice. She could only snort in exasperation and silently accept her mother's suggestion. A name such as Little Fish could be used as a pet name. But official name? Forget it. No one objected to the name that Elder Lin gave Sanbao. As such, the names of the three babies were decided that day. Zai Sheng was a hands-on person. From the three babies' birth until now, he did not seem to have been of any help, although he was the father. He had not done anything. As such, today, Zai Sheng had something to do. Before the end of Jiaonan's classes, he brought the household register of family members to the Public Security Bureau. When Zai Sheng came out of the place, the household register of family members had three more striking names: Zai Yi, Zai Xin, and Zai Yu. Henceforth, the Zai family of 5 had become a family of 8. Nan, take a look at this. Just as Jiaonan sat on the front passenger seat, Zai Sheng stuffed a small booklet in her lap. Jiaonan looked at Zai Sheng suspiciously and asked Zai Sheng what he wanted her to see. Zai Sheng smiled but did not reply. Jiaonan could only lower her head and pick the item up. Household Register of Family Members. The names of the 3 babies have been decided. After knowing that the 3 children had names now, of course, Jiaonan's first reaction was to feel happy. Very soon, Jiaonan's smile turned stiff. Shouldn't she be informed when the names had been decided? Shouldn't she also take a look at the names? Although the names of the 3 babies should be given by the elders and she would most likely not express any differing views, she was not involved at all in the naming of her 3 children despite having given birth to them after much difficulty. No matter how Qiaonan thought about it, she felt a little regretful. Don't be like that. If the 3 babies find out about today's matter when they grow up, they will definitely laugh at you. You will be spending more time with the 3 babies than me in the future. I will miss out on much more. Zai Sheng did not hesitate to expose his scars for the sake of coaxing Qiaonan. As a first-time father, Zai Sheng also very much wished that he could spend more time with his children and witness each moment of them growing up. Unfortunately, he could not do so. Upon hearing that Zai Sheng's joking tone carried a sense of heaviness and disappointment, Qiaonan felt guilty. She quickly opened the household register of family members. Zai Yi, Zai Xian, and Zai Yu, these 3 names sound so pleasant. Which one came from you? Looking at the names of the 3 babies, Qiaonan's eyes lit up. These 3 names were excellent. She did not have any comments on them. If she were to be the one naming them, she might not be able to come up with something better. De Bao's and Er Bao's names were jointly thought of by the old master, Dad, and Mi San Bao's name was given by Elder Lin. Master came up with the name. Did you decide on this matter or? Qiaonan was very shocked. San Bao's name was given by her master. If the old master and her father-in-law knew about it, would they flare up at Brother Zai for taking matters into his own hand? As the mother of the 3 children, Qiaonan did not feel angry after learning that her master was the one who named San Bao. Instead, she felt overjoyed. Her master was already so old. Besides the auntie who took care of him, he did not have anyone else or relatives by his side. Qiaonan's heart ached very much for him. She was someone who did not have an affinity with her parents. Besides her in-laws, only Zhu Jinqi, this godfather, and Elder Lin, this master, treated her best. Although she was not related to them by blood, they were very good to her, and their treatment to her far exceeded that of her biological relatives. However, Qiaonan also had a lot of problems. She was only a student and could not earn money. She did not have the opportunity to be filial to Elder Lin. She knew that Elder Lin was staying alone. Qiaonan wanted to bring the 3 babies to keep Elder Lin company and liven up the atmosphere at the house of the Lin family. However, what was troubling was that she had to study. She did not even have enough time to keep the 3 children company. How could she have so much time to bring her children to see Elder Lin? It could be said that Qiaonan had already tried her best to squeeze out some time. Sometimes, she simply revised her studies at the house of the Lin family. There was only one Qiaonan. She could take care of her master, but what about her mother-in-law? Her mother-in-law was not willing to follow her father-in-law around nowadays because she wanted to take care of her grandchildren. Her mother-in-law was not afraid of suffering and helped her take care of the children. Qiaonan could not possibly let her mother-in-law feel disappointed and lonely due to her filial piety for her master. Qiaonan had considered many ideas on how to make Lin Yuankong, this master, happier, especially after the 3 babies were born. The 3 babies were not only her children. Hence, she could not decide on many things alone. Zai Sheng was also not by her side. No matter how many plans Qiaonan had in mind, she could only put them aside temporarily. Unexpectedly, Zai Sheng took the initiative to give the right of naming San Bao to Elder Lin. This had fulfilled one of Qiaonan's wishes. Will the old master and father-in-law be angry about this? Now that her wish had been fulfilled, Qiaonan looked like a smiling kitten that had just stolen a fish. She really did not have a choice. Elder Lin was very old now and different from the typical elders. He liked to have the little ones surround him. Elder Lin did not have anyone who could keep him company by his side. He was very lonely. Qiaonan was not afraid of other things. She was just afraid that Elder Lin would gradually contract some psychological problems due to too much loneliness. Psychological illnesses were more terrible than physical illnesses. One would only have the determination to live on if they had hopes and desires in their hearts. If their will to live was reduced, then. Qiaonan greatly cherished the kinship that she finally had after much difficulty. She hoped that elder Lin could live to 100 years of age and watched the 3 babies grow up. If it was possible, Qiaonan wanted to support elder Lin financially when he was older, but elder Lin did not require that. Hence, she did not want elder Lin to also lose out on experiencing the joy of grandchildren surrounding him. Elder Lin had never talked about this in front of Qiaonan or put Qiaonan in a difficult position. However, Qiaonan was very sensitive. She could feel it even though elder Lin did not say anything. From time to time, she could sense that elder Lin felt that he was old and past his prime age. She often felt fear and trepidation at the thought of this. She wanted to dismiss the feelings of old wood was rotting that were subconsciously revealed by elder Lin. Chapter 1194 Money that came from sudden riches. Zai Sheng looked at Qiaonan dotingly. You're concerned about whether old Master Zai and your father-in-law will lose their temper? You should think about how to explain to Chief Zhu when he finds out about this. Chief Zhu also treated Qiaonan like his own daughter. The family had 3 babies all at once. Everyone was red with envy and said that Nan Nan had given birth to too many babies. However, Zai Sheng was well aware that these 3 babies were not enough to share between these old folks. They even had to compete with one another until they broke their heads. Qiaonan relaxed and leaned backward on the seat. I'm not as concerned about Godfather. Don't forget that he still has to be a grandfather in the future. When Zhu Baoqiu and Shi Qing are married, their children's names will definitely be given by him. Her master was not like her godfather. He no longer had such an opportunity. However, her godfather would definitely feel angry about this. When the time came, she would simply bring the 3 babies over to appease their maternal grandfather. After having babies, Qiaonan was pleasantly surprised to find a new function of her children, fire extinguisher. Zai Sheng smiled. If the 3 babies know that you think that way, don't you think they will blame you in the future? Nan Nan had thought it out so well. She would leave it to the 3 babies to resolve every situation and trouble that they encountered. The 3 babies were only more than 2 months old and still drinking milk. No matter what, the triplets of the Zai family finally had names. In less than a month after the names of the 3 babies were decided, Lin Yuankong brought 3 little boxes over to the Zai family and said that they were gifts for the children. Qiaonan was taken aback when she opened them. Jade. The jades in the 3 boxes looked watery and translucent. Qiaonan was not an expert in this area. Judging from the looks, sizes, and engravings, Qiaonan knew that the little jade pendants in her hands were very valuable. Qiaonan was poor and did not play with such items. However, there would always be 1 or 2 people around her who were interested in such things. Under their influence, Qiaonan was very clear that the prices of these items would rise very quickly in a few years. The price would only go crazier in the future. If she did not remember it wrongly, she once watched some news about someone gambling on jade in Yunnan. One of the tourists accidentally broke open a piece of jade which was worth 280,000 yuan. Qiaonan dared to bet that the quality of the 3 jade pendants given by her master to the 3 children looked much better than the one that she saw in the news. Master, don't tell me these 3 pieces of jade are the legendary glass species. Oh, you can tell? Do you have some knowledge of jade too? Lin Yuankang's eyes lit up. He did not expect that his little disciple was a child who knew what good stuff was. Yes, this is the glass species, and they are top-grade ones. Qiaonan's heart trembled. Glass species. These 3 pieces of items were really too valuable. 10 years later, they needed to use more than 1 million or tens of million yuan to talk about the prices. This should not be emerald imperial jade, right? If it was top-grade glass species emerald imperial jade, and such a huge piece, wasn't the value going to be in billions? Qiaonan heard from the colleague who was very interested in jade that just a small piece of top-grade glass species emerald imperial jade on a ring was worth tens of millions of yuan. The jades in her hands could make a few rings. Elder Lin was really quite surprised that his little disciple knew quite a lot about jade. People nowadays prefer the white jades from Xinjiang. In comparison, the market for jade is a little poorer. However, I just praised you for having a little knowledge and you have now become colorblind. How can this be Emerald Imperial Jade? The color of Emerald Imperial Jade is much more beautiful than this. Facing his disciple whom he had just deemed colorblind, Elder Lin took his hat off to her. Right, how did you know so much about this? He initially thought that his little disciple most likely would not recognize what these items were when he took them out. I've heard someone mention it before. Who? That person is very interested in jade and finds jade beautiful. Although he is poor, he is willing to do so research. He has talked a lot about it, so I gained a little knowledge. Master, the 3 babies are still so small. Don't you think you have gone a little overboard to give them these jades? The 3 babies were not even 4 months old. After having these jade pendants, they would become wealthier than many people. They would take over even her, their mother. She did not even have a chance to win them. Facing the children who were wealthier than her, Xiao Nan felt a little jealous. She was the poorest one in the whole family. Miao Jing did not speak. She agreed with Xiao Nan and felt that Elder Lin had gone a little overboard in giving such items. The Zai family did not lack these little items for the 3 children. However, the Zai family would also not casually take out items with such value. She could not quite accept Elder Lin's generosity toward the children. Don't worry. To me, these 3 pieces of jade won't cost me a bomb. I didn't spend much on them, Elder Lin said complacently. I have a lot of good stuff in my hands and have to put them away properly. I will leave them for San Bao's dowry when she grows up. He was the one who named San Bao. In addition, she was the only little girl. Hence, Elder Lin doted very much on San Bao. Master, Xiao Nan lifted the corners of her lips. You can't boast in this way. Right, even though you really have a lot of them, you can't just give them out in this manner. Those were worth millions and tens of millions. He even gave out 3 pieces at once. Xiao Nan would feel very guilty of accepting them. They are not for you. Why are you so naggy? The 3 babies are still so young. I am passing these items to you because you are their mother so that you can temporarily safeguard them on their behalf. You have to give them to the 3 babies when they grow up. Otherwise, I will definitely not let you off. Goodness, sometimes, it was quite tiring to have a little disciple who was too honest and unwilling to take advantage of him. She was so young, yet so inflexible. This was too troubling. Zihua was sitting beside Xiao Nan. She stuffed San Bao into Elder Lin's arms without any reservation. Elder Lin, I heard that you gambled on jade when you were in your 30s or 40s. The price of the jade even skyrocketed. Don't tell me this is true. Elder Lin lifted his chin proudly. Of course it's true. That piece of jade which price skyrocketed, aren't you looking at it now? Elder Lin was not someone who liked gambling. At that time, he happened to be on an overseas trip to Yunnan and came into contact with jade gambling. Initially, Elder Lin did not wish to participate as he was not that interested in jades. However, someone dragged him along and insisted that he try it once. To put it bluntly, that person wished to become closer to Elder Lin with jade gambling so that he could bribe the latter. That man noticed that Elder Lin seemed to have his eyes on a piece of stone. He took a few more glances at it. Without a word, that man bought the stone and gave it to Elder Lin. Chapter 1195 Feeding Solids. Don't be in a hurry to decline, it's a gamble, even deities couldn't tell the number of jade in the stone accurately. I was just buying a small item, perhaps there's nothing in it and it's just a piece of rock, don't mind it so much. If he had lost in the gamble and really gifted a piece of white stone, no matter how much he had spent on it, it could not be constituted as bribery. That person's attitude was very firm and someone had also carried the stone up. When he was young, Elder Lin did not lack money. He also disliked taking advantage of others. In fact, when he heard others introducing the stones, he was optimistic about that stone and thus took a few more glances at it. Anyway, he was not lacking in money and also did not like to take advantage of others. In the end, Elder Lin accepted this piece of stone. However, he did not spend a single cent from the other party. Elder Lin forked out the capital of 50,000 yuan on his own. In the 1990s, it was very spectacular to be able to afford 50,000 yuan. Building 2 houses would only cost about 20,000 to 30,000 yuan. Elder Lin simply used the money that typical folks could use to build 2 houses to buy a piece of stone. Elder Lin's luck was also good. He casually bought a piece of stone and got someone to open it on the spot. Who knows? He actually earned a lot with one gamble. It was the rare glass species. If it was the emerald green imperial jade, Elder Lin's luck would be defying the heaven then. Although this piece of jade was not the emerald green imperial jade, Elder Lin was still the biggest winner among the gamblers on that day. After getting this piece of jade, Elder Lin did not sell it as he did not lack the money. Instead, he found ways to hire a master with good engraving skills to carve out various pieces of jade and turn them into finished products. Besides these 3 pieces of jade, Elder Lin also had rings and bracelets made from that jade in his house. The most valuable part of the jade would be the center part of it, which was beige in color. The master simply carved out a jade longevity peach from it. That longevity peach was the most valuable piece of item. In comparison with the longevity peach, the 3 pieces of jade and the bracelets and rings were all considered side dishes. Due to this jade gamble, Elder Lin's wealth grew. Those who were aware had publicized this for Elder Lin. Those who were unaware just took it that this was an unfounded rumor and the truth was not as such. Today was the first time that Elder Lin showed the jade to outsiders. Zihua was very sensitive and she confirmed that this was the truth and not a rumor. Little girl, are you good at gambling? You have heard of this before. Elder Lin did not deny the existence of this matter. He even admitted it graciously. Zihua gave a helpless smile. I'm a good gambler, aren't you one who is truly good at gambling? It has been so many years, Elder Lin, you can really hide things well. She had initially thought that if Elder Lin had such good things, he would definitely not be able to endure it during Nan Nan's wedding and would insist on giving Nan Nan something. To her surprise, Elder Lin did not give Qiao Nan any jade on the day the latter married Zai Sheng. On the contrary, Elder Lin took action when the 3 babies were 4 months old and showed the items to others. The 3 babies are really fortunate. When she said this, Zihua was full of gloat as she looked at Qiao Nan. Obviously, in Elder Lin's heart, the status of the 3 babies had surpassed that of Qiao Nan, this little disciple. After rubbing Bao's back, Qiao Nan discovered that Bao, who had kicked up a fuss for some time, did not perspire much. She then felt more at ease. Sister Zihua, why do you keep staring at me? So what if she had been surpassed? Before the 3 babies were born, she was already mentally prepared to be slapped dead on the beach by them. Nothing, since Qiao Nan was not willing to take the bait, Zihua did not have a way either. Is it time to feed the 3 babies solid food now? Yes, it's almost time. Qiao Nan looked at the time and nodded. As soon as he heard that it was feeding time for his grand disciples, Elder Lin was worked up. Let me feed San Bao. Sure, no one is fighting with you. Zihua nodded. She then went into the kitchen and took out the 3 babies' solid food today. When the 3 babies were 4 months old, they started to grow teeth. Little white dots started to appear on their pinkish gums. As soon as they saw the 3 babies teething, the women in the Zai family discussed what kind of solid food to prepare to aid the 3 babies' growth. The staple food for the 3 babies was still breast milk. However, this situation was going to change very soon. The 3 babies were growing up gradually and their appetite followed suit. Qiao Nan could barely fill the tummies of 2 children, let alone 3. Nowadays, Qiao Nan's breast milk was only enough to make them 60 to 70% full. She would then get the family to supplement them with formula milk. At the rate this was going, Xiao Nan would most probably not be able to make them half full when they were 5 months old. She might as well wean them off breast milk when they were 6 months old and let them drink formula milk. Be good, Sanbao Master Grandpa will feed you something nice. Elder Lin was a refined and cultured old man. He shrank his body and squatted in front of Sanbao. While holding a pink flowery bowl, he drew imaginary butterflies with a little spoon in his other hand in an interesting and childlike manner. Spoon by spoon, he was very meticulous and patient as he fed Sanbao. Sanbao's appetite was good and she was not picky. Xiaonan's breast milk could not completely satisfy the 3 babies. When they were first fed formula milk, they kicked up a little fuss and refused to cooperate. Besides that, they were very receptive when solid foods were introduced to them. Sanbao could recognize that this was the little bowl that belonged to her. When the little spoon came before her face, she opened her tiny mouth widely and even made sounds like a bird as she waited to eat. When the little spoon entered her mouth, Sanbao closed her mouth tightly to push all the food in the spoon into her mouth. She was deliciously enjoying her meal, so obedient Sanbao was very enthusiastic about taking solids. She did not need anyone to coax her. Elder Lin was afraid that he was feeding her too quickly and would choke her. He wanted to wait for Sanbao to finish swallowing the food in her mouth before feeding her again. However, the impatient Sanbao opened her mouth a step earlier and patted Elder Lin's palms to urge the latter to increase his speed. It was not just Sanbao. It was the same for Dabao and Bao. Their appetites were too good. They would eat whatever was given to them and seemed to enjoy the food very much. They were also hungry often and could take a few meals a day. When they pushed the 3 babies out the last time, the neighbors exclaimed that it was strange. When they saw the triplets during their full-month celebration, it was obvious that they were much thinner than other babies who were 1 month old. Only 3 months had passed and the triplets had grown so big. That fleshy and chubby look was no different from 4-month-old children of other families. They were growing very well. Their round eyes were swirling and their little arms and legs were kicking hard. They looked so adorable. It was all because of their great appetites that the 3 babies grew so well. Be good, Dabao, when you are full, you've eaten enough. Chapter 1196 Move into the house next door. Dabao was the elder brother and the heaviest among the triplets. He was the first baby to finish the food. He had emptied the bowl, but he opened his mouth and looked toward his grandmother, wanting to have more food. Miaojing patted Dabao's protruding belly. Dabao, be good, you are full, you should not stuff yourself with food if you are hungry later, I will make more food for you. She noticed that other children were not as well behaved and obedient as her grandchildren. Miaojing told the auntie to put aside Dabao's bowl so that he would not throw tantrums as he was refused food. It was easy to discipline babies under 1 year old. As long as they did not see the food, they would not pester the adults to give them more food. True enough, once his bowl was put aside, Dabao quieted down. He held a toy in his hands and twisted it about. The triplets' arms and grips are getting stronger. They have strong backs as well. They are able to straighten their backs when we carry them. I noticed that Dabao has been turning over in bed these past few days. Miaojing stopped Dabao from destroying the toy while she told Elder Lin about the triplets' recent developments with all smiles. As the days passed, the triplets had tremendous developments. Is that so? Elder Lin's curiosity was piqued. After Xiaonan wiped Sanbao's mouth, Elder Lin placed her on the sofa. Sanbao, show me how you turn over on the sofa. Sanbao, who was well fed, yawned and blinked her eyes. She stared at Elder Lin, who was all smiles. Instead of turning over, she stretched her legs and grabbed them, bringing her legs to her mouth as she licked at them. Elder Lin felt perplexed. Didn't you just have your meal? Why did she lick her legs? Xiaonan smiled, feeling amused. Sanbao, be good, show Elder Lin how you turn over on the sofa. Xiaonan walked to Sanbao, who was lying on her back on the sofa. She lifted her and laid her on her stomach. Sanbao lay prone on the sofa like a tortoise. She did not feel uncomfortable in that position, but she was unable to lick her legs. Sanbeo did not throw a tantrum. Instead, she flailed her arms and legs and turned over to lie on her back. Sanbeo was happy that she could raise her legs and she could see what was in front of her. She smiled and drooled happily. Her saliva dripped down her cheeks and her chubby neck. She took her legs and started licking again. Babies who are teething tend to drool a lot. Jiaonan did not know whether to smile or cry. She took out a cotton handkerchief and dabbed Sanbao's cheeks and neck lightly with it. Apart from Sanbao, Dabao and Bao had the same problem as well. Nowadays, instead of soiling their clothes, they had to change the triplets' clothing as the clothes were wet from their saliva. Elder Lin was slow to react. He took a while before he applauded Sanbao for turning over on the sofa. Sanbao, that was brilliant, marvelous. Sanbao was too swift in her action. Elder Lin, who had no experience in taking care of babies, was surprised by her nimble movements and he was slow to react. The triplets have made tremendous developments. They seem to be able to turn over in no time. He was indeed getting older. Master, our neighbor seems to be moving away. Seeing that Lin Yuankong seemed to be in a melancholic mood, Jiaonan had a bright idea. She shared a piece of information with Lin Yuankong. Moving away, they had been working in the central government. If they moved out now, it would mean that they were transferred away. Jiaonan smiled. They seem to have committed some mistakes and they can no longer stay in the capital. They have encountered some financial difficulties and they intend to sell the house. Lin Yuankong was interested. Is that so? Of course, it's a pity that I do not have any money. Otherwise, one will definitely make money if one buys a house in the capital. I wonder who our future neighbors will be. Hopefully, they are good-tempered and won't be too noisy. The triplets are still young. They will not be able to sleep well. If the neighbors are very noisy, they will be frightened. Jiaonan touched Sanbao's feet. She felt that time had passed by in the blink of an eye. As a mother, she almost could not tell that the triplets were born 1 month before their delivery dates. They were growing very well. Jiaonan felt embarrassed that her daughter's thigh would soon be as thick as her thigh. However, Miao Jing consoled her that it was normal that the triplets were chubby. Babies would normally be chubby from drinking the milk. Once they were weaned off the milk, they would lose their weight very quickly. Zai Sheng was handsome and she was not ugly. Jiaonan hoped fervently that her babies would not turn out to be overweight. A fair complexion was good enough to cover one's faults, but nothing was worse than being fat. Speaking of genes, the triplets should be handsome and beautiful. Elder Lin began making plans for himself upon hearing Jiaonan's words. Disciple, I have something on today. I will make a move first. I will visit the triplets next time. His disciple was right. The triplets were still young. They could not afford to suffer from any shocks. If their new neighbor had a bad temper, the triplets might be bullied by them in the future. As their grand master, he would not allow anyone to bully his grand disciples. He had to come up with a solution. The Zai family smiled as Elder Lin left. Zai Hua held Sanbao in her arms. When Elder Lin comes back to his senses, he will definitely be angry at you. Jiaonan, who held Bao in her arms, looked helpless. She pinched Bao's lightly on his chubby arms. I was left with no choice. I am just using the way that will work for him. Before Zai Sheng went back to the army, Jiaonan had a talk with him regarding Elder Lin. She felt that it was time for him to enjoy life and she wanted to take care of him. However, Elder Lin was well-to-do and did not need her help. Besides, she had yet to graduate and she did not earn any money. She could not use the money from the Zai family to support her master. Another problem was Elder Lin stayed too far away from the Zai family. Jiaonan could not bear it that Elder Lin had to spend the rest of his life by himself. It was a coincidence that their neighbors encountered some problems and had to move. It was the solution to Jiaonan's problem. The neighbors intended to move out and they wanted to sell the house to raise some money. One would definitely benefit in the long term if one bought a house in the capital. But not everyone was able to afford this kind of private housing. It would cost a lot of money to buy a house in the capital. However, Elder Lin had no problem buying such houses. At times, Xiao Nan wondered what her master was working as. She heard that he was once the leader in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs would not be able to offer their employers with an astoundingly high salary. Why was it that her master did not lack any money and he behaved as if he was a baller? Chapter 1197 Grooming Talents. Since Xiao Nan had doubts about her master, Zai Sheng told her everything about Lin Yuankong. Lin Yuankong was very smart from a young age. He was the smartest child among his generation in the Lin family. Back then, the Lin family was an illustrious family. Since he was intelligent and was the son of the first wife, the elders gave him all valuables at home. He was seen as a rich second-generation heir. It was chaotic in the 70s. Lin Yuankong was barely 10 years old then, but he managed to hide all the valuables that were the cause of the Lin family's downfall. He then brought enough money with him and fled out of the country for his overseas studies. After he finished his studies, he was already in his 20s. Peace had once again returned to the country and the country was in need of talents. As a result, Lin Yuankong came back to his country in glory. Even if Lin Yuankong was incapable, the valuables that his family passed down to him were sufficient for him to lead a well-to-do life until he passed away. As it happened, Lin Yuankong was very capable and he was lucky with money. People usually complained that they did not have enough money. However, it was the opposite for Lin Yuankong. He was able to make lots and lots of money and he bought several houses in the capital as well as in Pingcheng. He gifted the triplets with jade pendants that cost more than 1 million yuan. Therefore, it would not be a problem for him to buy the house next to the Zai family's residence. Xiao Nan wanted to take care of Elder Lin, but it was unsuitable for her to ask him to stay in the Zai family's residence with them. Elder Lin was proud. He would not want to live with the Zai family and be under someone else's roof. Moreover, he had no lack of houses to live in. Zai Sheng learned that their neighbor intended to sell the house and told Xiao Nan to bring this matter up to Elder Lin. If Elder Lin bought the house next to the Zai family's residence, he would become their neighbor. Elder Lin could come over to their house frequently to play with the triplets. When it was late, he could just go back to his house next door to rest. If Elder Lin could not bear to part with the triplets and wanted to stay with them, the Zai family would agree to his request as he lived next door. As someone who had been through rebirth, Xiao Nan knew better than anyone else that instead of depositing money in the bank, it was better to use the money to buy a house to defend against risk before the government set a limit to the number of properties that one could have. It was obvious what Xiao Nan was up to when she brought up the neighboring house to Elder Lin. Ha ha ha, it has been difficult on you. The people that you know seem to have a bad temper. Zihua was full of sympathy for Xiao Nan. If Xiao Nan did not handle the matter properly, Elder Lin would not agree to it. Xiao Nan had to be considerate of his feelings and take extra care not to hurt his pride. It was a tough job. Xiao Nan placed Bao, who was asleep in the baby crib. She then coaxed Bao in her arms. Bao, you have a temper like your grandmaster. You must keep him company in the future. Her master needed people to appease and coax him. Bao nestled himself in Xiao Nan's embrace. There was a satisfied and comfortable look on his face. He moved his round, chubby face about Xiao Nan's soft and comfy chest before he yawned once again, leaning against her arms and drifting to sleep. Xiao Nan managed to get him to sleep in no time. Should we bring them upstairs, they would most likely sleep for more than an hour. Miao Jing touched her granddaughter's tiny hands to check whether she was cold. Ever since it was winter, Miao Jing was worried that the babies would catch a cold. Sure, Xiao Nan nodded. They each carried a baby with them and went upstairs. Bao and Bao are getting heavier. My hands will become numb after carrying them for a while. I am not sure if I will be able to carry them when they turn 1 year old. Xiao Nan loved children and she liked to hold them in her arms. Her babies liked it when she carried them. However, Xiao Nan was not as physically strong as Zai Sheng, who was able to carry 3 of them at one go. She felt strenuous even when she was only carrying one baby in her arms. She wondered if she should get her babies to lose weight so that she could continue to carry them, or if she should train herself to become a muscle babe. Ha ha ha, don't worry, they are indeed growing very fast now, it will be better in the future bao. Don't worry, I will carry you in my arms until you grow up, I dote on you and will be able to carry you no matter what bao. You must be close to me. Miao Jing kissed bao on the cheeks. He was sleeping soundly in her arms. Zihua refused to lose out to her. She bent down to kiss Sanbao. Sanbao, you must be close to your aunt. I am stronger than your mom. Don't worry about gaining weight and growing up. I will be able to carry you no matter how heavy you are. Zihua was the proudest of her physical strength. This was her only advantage over Qiao Nan. Qiao Nan, who had lost to the two other women, felt upset. She gave a kiss to Dabao's smooth fragrant cheeks. Since the triplets were sleeping, Qiao Nan had all the time to herself. Every student was busy revising at this time of the year. The Lunar New Year was coming, and that meant exams were around the corner as well. Qiao Nan had been looking through and studying the syllabus for the next semester. Like Gao Yan, she wanted to work hard to graduate in less than 4 years. She no longer dreamed of getting a double degree. Elder Lin understood that ever since Qiao Nan gave birth to her babies, she had to spend more time at home. It was unlikely that she would be able to do spectacularly well in her exams like how she did in the past. Therefore, Elder Lin had changed the learning schedule that he had designed for Qiao Nan. Elder Lin knew that Qiao Nan did not have as much time as other students and she would not be able to score a perfect score in her exams. Therefore, Elder Lin hoped that she would at least have a decent score and put her focus on knowledge learned outside of class as well as interpersonal relations and ways to network and socialize with other people. Diplomats from all over the world were cunning and crafty. If Qiao Nan was not as diplomatic and tactful with words, and her attitude was not as firm, she might say the wrong words and be devoured by the other party. The other party would not go lenient on her just because she looked innocent and simple-minded. Elder Lin felt worried that Qiao Nan was not firm enough. Given her personality, if he insisted that she join the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, would she bring trouble to herself and implicate the country? He hoped that his disciple would stretch her limits and achieve success, but he had no wish to bring her harm. With Elder Lin around, Qiao Nan was particularly busy in her second year of college. As a student from the foreign language faculty, Qiao Nan had to work extra hard on her English. However, unlike other students, Qiao Nan had to go through her English exams long before other students in her batch. Qiao Nan was already revising for her final term exams. Chapter 1198 Reminder. However, while her classmates were doing their revision, she was doing the homework and reading the materials that Lin Yuankong, her master, prepared for her. The exams are finally over. It is a pity that the winter break is too short. It is barely for a month. Qiao Nan, who just finished the exams, looked regretful. If the winter break was longer, she might be able to complete all the homework that her master prepared for her. Su Shennan, who was back at school, heard Qiao Nan's words. She was speechless. If I remember correctly, you no longer need to take a train back home. Your house is now it. Su Shennan looked around before she lowered her voice. Didn't you say that you are staying in the capital? Yes. That was right. Now that she no longer needed to go back to Pingcheng, she did not need to spend time making the trip to Pingcheng. In that case, she would have approximately 3 more days to study. But the problem is the Lunar New Year is coming. One has to visit the relatives. Do you think that I do not need to go back? Su Shennan looked conflicted. Qiao Nan, although you did not tell me much about your situation, I feel that you have a complicated family. Whenever girls of similar age gathered together, they would usually gossip about the celebrity stars that they liked, which male student from a particular faculty was handsome, or their family situations. Su Shennan had known Qiao Nan for 1.5 years. Qiao Nan seldom talked about her family. Even if she talked about the Qiao family, she would only make a few passing remarks. If someone was so secretive about one's family situation, it must be for a reason. In the 1.5 years that she knew Xiao Nan, Su Shennan felt that she was a nice and good-tempered girl. She might not be as bubbly and cheerful as her peers, but a quiet and reserved Xiao Nan was just as friendly and lovable. Su Shennan believed that if a girl like her had no wish to talk about her family, the problem must be with the Qiao family instead of Xiao Nan. Xiao Nan forced a smile. "Senior, you have been thinking too much. My family situation is not as complicated as what you made it be. There is a saying in China, a daughter married is like water spilled. Have you forgotten that I am already attached? According to the customs at my place, once a lady is engaged, she is no different from being married. My fiancé has moved to the capital due to work reasons, so I have been staying in the capital as well. It has nothing to do with my parental family. Is that so?" Su Shennan knew that the customs in different places were different. She might not have known it, but that did not mean that it did not exist. If getting engaged is tantamount to getting married, the customs at your place must be. Nevertheless, all that matters is that you are happy. Whenever I see you in school, your eyes seem to be smiling. It seems that your in-laws treat you very well. It is good that you are leading a happy life. There is no need to care about other matters." Although Xiao Nan rarely spoke about her family, it did not mean that Su Shennan knew nothing about it. Since Su Shennan managed to get into Peking University, she must have a high EQ. Every family usually only had one child, or 2 children at most. After the Lunar New Year, Xiao Nan was only 22 years old according to the Chinese lunar age. In other words, since there were so few children in the family, Xiao Nan was still considered as a child. No family would want their daughter to be seen as married once she was engaged. The in-laws were different from the parental family. Su Shennan had grown up and she was about to graduate from school. Her mother would tell her about the problems between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. According to her mother and what she had observed, she had come to one conclusion: compared to staying with one's family, it was not as comfortable to stay with the in-laws. It was odd that Xiao Nan's parental family did not mind that Xiao Nan lived with the in-laws. Unless the parents did not care for the children, all parents would be worried. Their daughter was married at a young age and she might suffer in the in-laws' house. There was no way that the parental family could help their children or stand up for them. "Don't worry. My in-laws are friendly and they are nice people." Xiao Nan had a more genuine smile on her face. She only felt at home when she was at her in-laws' house. It was different from being at the Qiao family's residence. Xiao Nan always felt that it was her fortune to meet Zai Sheng in this life. It was her blessing to be married to him and to have such wonderful in-laws like the Zai family. She had used up all her luck in the 2 lifetimes to have such a good family. She was glad to have endured all those hardships and found such a good family and husband. She was willing to use her luck in her 2 lifetimes in exchange for her happiness in this life. Looking at the way that Xiao Nan was blushing, Su Shennan breathed a sigh of relief. "Previously, you have lost so much weight. I thought that." She thought that Xiao Nan's in-laws had been bullying her and her parental family did not step in to help. As a result, her in-laws were fearless as Xiao Nan had no one to stand up for her. Su Shennan did not believe that Xiao Nan was unwell due to the high temperature in summer and hence lost some weight. It seems that, at least, something was done right. Su Shennan believed that Xiao Nan's parental family was not good to their daughter, and she was right indeed. Although the parental family was not good to Xiao Nan, at least, they had found Xiao Nan a good in-law. This was why Su Shennan praised the Qiao family. "All right, stop complaining that the winter break is only 1 month long. The Lunar New Year is coming. It is time to feast and gain weight. Many girls wish that the winter break will be shorter. They are worried that if the winter break is too long, they will spend too much time feasting. By the time the weather is hotter and there is no need to wear layers of clothes, one could tell that they have put on weight. You are too skinny. There is no need to worry about putting on weight. You should have more food. Su Shennan sized up Jiaonan's slim figure. Look at you. Why wasn't the flesh on your chest distributed to other parts of the body? Jiaonan burst out in laughter. Senior Su, I am not going to take issue with what you said previously, but from your last sentence, you seem to be jealous. Senior, are you envious that I am voluptuous? With that, Jiaonan puffed her chest blatantly. It was true that Jiaonan had a better figure after giving birth to the triplets. Not many female students could be her match. Unfortunately, Su Shennan was flat-chested as well. There was no way that she would not be jealous of Jiaonan's high chest. Stop puffing your chest. It is already very voluptuous. Su Shennan pretended to give Jiaonan an angry stare. Luckily, we are not outside. Do you know that many male students will suffer from nosebleed at your action? All right, I believe that your in-laws have been treating you well. I remember when I first saw you half a year or 1 year ago, you did not have such a good figure. Your in-laws must take the credit for your good figure. Your husband stands to gain. By the way, I have to remind you about something. Chapter 1199 Metascum. Seeing the good figure that Jiaonan had, Su Shennan could not help but give her a gentle reminder. Although getting engaged is similar to getting married at your place, you must not forget that you are very young. Men and women will be attracted to you. As a woman, we are physically weaker in certain aspects. You must not be soft-hearted to men. You must learn to protect yourself. Instead of taking contraceptive pills yourself, you must insist that they wear condoms. It is harmful to the body to take contraceptive pills. You must not go for abortions as well. Su Shennan was in her 4th year. She had seen many such cases in school as well. Many female students went for abortions. Whenever she heard of these cases, she would lament that they did not protect themselves and feel sorry for their circumstances. As a woman, why did they not cherish themselves but go along with the scumbags? It was nothing much to wear a condom. Those men were only concerned about having a good time. They had no regard for the health of the other party. Su Shennan was full of anger and complaints at the mention of these scums. Jiaonan looked alarmed. Senior Su, why are you so agitated? It was as if she was narrating her first-hand account, and that she had known such scum and was hurt by them. Senior Su could not be that muddle-headed. I almost ended up in trouble. Su Shennan had a bitter smile on her face. Luckily, I turned back in the nick of time. Other people were not as lucky. The worst thing was the person who treaded in my footsteps and ended up in trouble was the childhood friend who grew up with me. She was my close pal, but she ended up hating me to the core. When she was in a relationship back then, her boyfriend insisted on being intimate with her. She almost agreed to his request. They had gotten undressed but she was startled that her boyfriend did not wear a condom, so she told him to wear one. However, he made an excuse, saying that he did not have it and that she would not get pregnant from the one-time experience. Su Shennan did not feel assured. She insisted that the other party purchase some condoms. In the end, the man was unhappy that Su Shennan was so troublesome. Initially, Su Shennan felt sorry to her boyfriend for being so insistent. She heard that once men started, it was a torture for them to be under control. However, seeing that the man was unhappy, Su Shennan was enraged as well. She told him that if he was upset, they could call it off. Su Shennan dressed herself and walked off. After what happened, Su Shennan was on pins and needles as she had quarreled with her boyfriend. On the one hand, she did not feel that she was wrong. On the other hand, she was worried if she had been too much to her boyfriend, and that he would be upset and break up with her. They had a cold war for the next 2 months. They did not contact each other on the phone or ask how the other party was doing. The semester had reached an end. They finished their exams and went back to their respective homes. As such, they were apart for another 2 months. Since Su Shennan could not reach her boyfriend, she could only go back home despite feeling gloomy. Something dramatic happened when she went back home. Su Shennan went back to her hometown with her childhood friend. After returning to her hometown for less than a week, she heard that her childhood friend was pregnant. Su Shennan widened her eyes in shock at the news. Her childhood friend was an introvert and she seldom interacted and mingled with other people. Her childhood friend would tag along with her whenever they went outside. She had no idea when her friend started dating. She was worried that she was being cheated and hence gotten herself pregnant. It was only when her childhood friend aborted the child and scolded her did Su Shennan know that her childhood friend had been with her boyfriend and her childhood friend was pregnant with his child. She did not know if she should be angry at her childhood friend or if she should sympathize with her. She was the one who introduced her childhood friend to her boyfriend. When she refused to be intimate with her boyfriend on that particular day, it turned out that her childhood friend ended up being intimate with him. It meant as soon as she left, her childhood friend showed up and laid on the bed that she just laid on, being with the man that she was about to be intimate with. The ridiculous thing was that after the childhood friend's family discovered that she was intimate with Su Shennan's boyfriend and was pregnant with his child, the childhood friend scolded her for being shameless and bringing harm to her on purpose. At that moment, Su Shennan felt as if her world had shattered. She did not understand what she had done to encounter such people and for such things to happen to her. Xiao Nan was speechless. True enough, there are scums everywhere in the world. Senior Su's childhood friend got intimate with Senior Su's boyfriend and ended up pregnant, yet she blamed the senior for introducing such a bad man to her. It was so ridiculous. Xiao Nan could not help but be reminded that it was due to her that Xiao Zijin and Chen Jun came to know each other. Although it was her sister who snatched her boyfriend, after she was pregnant with Chen Jun's child, Xiao Zijin got her mother to stand on her side and made Xiao Nan give up the relationship. In the end, her wish came true and she married Chen Jun. Luckily, Xiao Zijin did not scold her for being shameless or blame her for introducing a scumbag like Chen Jun to her. She did not complain that the boyfriend that she had snatched from Xiao Nan was not good enough for her. Xiao Nan placed one arm on Su Shennan's shoulder. Senior Su, one couldn't tell that you have been through so much. You are better off without the scum. It is better to be rid of such scum as early as possible. You are clear-minded, so you did not fall for his trick. As for your childhood friend, I have no wish to say anything more. Close pal is indeed, the term close pal was still used to describe close friends now. It was only 10 years later when it was used to express some other meaning. Although they could no longer be close pals, she did not wish to see her childhood friend be cheated by the man. You're not at fault. Perhaps the senior's friend had taken a fancy to that man since a long time ago. Otherwise, she would not have known that Senior Su went to a hotel with the scum and appeared as soon as Senior Su left the place. The childhood friend must have schemed to stalk the couple. When she saw that Senior Su left in a puff, she knocked on the door and went in right away. Perhaps the childhood friend had no idea what she was going to do when she knocked on the door. Since the scum requested to be intimate with her, she agreed to it without thinking clearly. It was without a doubt that the woman was interested in the man since long ago. She liked the man despite the fact that he was Senior Su's boyfriend and ended up being intimate with him. It was impossible to harbor such intentions on the spur of the moment. That's right. I am not at fault. Su Shennan nodded in agreement. They had to face the consequences nevertheless. My friend was only muddle-headed for that single time. Both of them had yet to graduate from college and had to depend on their families. They had no means to keep the child. After the child was aborted, the man broke up with her. Her reputation was tarnished and she did not graduate from college. Since she was of legal age to marry, her mother married her off to a 30-year-old man. One was a 30-year-old man, while the other had just reached the legal age to marry. Chapter 1200 The Present That Came Late. She was originally a young lady who was a college student. Were they compatible? Not at all. However, this lady's reputation had been ruined and she could not find a good partner in her hometown. She could only choose an old and unmarried man who did not have a good family background. When I went back last year, I heard that she had been married to that man for a year after marriage. There were no signs of pregnancy in the first half of the year, but she finally conceived in the second half of the year when the child was 4 months old. It did not survive. They said that her health was damaged when she first had an abortion. 1 year has passed. I doubt she has become a mother. Encountering a scum was not a big deal, but having abortion casually could affect one for life. If it was not handled well, one could lose the eligibility to become a mother forever. Su Shennan did not hate that lady. Clearly, this trouble was caused by 2 people. However, after conceiving, only the woman would bear all the pain and suffering. That friend of hers had to pay such a huge price for just one relationship that was a mistake. Looking at that scum now, he was still studying in college. Similar to her, he would graduate from college in half a year. He would then find a good job, earn relatively well, and happily start a new phase of life. He could find a lady with compatible qualities, have marriage talks, and have children. His life would be so bright and wonderful. At the thought that the male and female leads who were involved in the same matter had such a huge difference in their lives, Su Shennan strongly objected to having premarital sex from the bottom of her heart. The meaning of Jiao Nan's engagement was, in fact, the same as marriage. Even so, the woman had to love and take care of herself more. She had to be more self-aware in protecting herself. Unless they were certain that they would give birth to the children after conceiving, they had to take preventive measures. It did not feel good to wear condoms? Don't do it then. Why was there so much nonsense? Facing Su Shennan's sense of justice, Jiao Nan did not know whether to laugh or cry. Senior Su, I understand all of your words. I know that you mean well. Don't worry, I love and cherish myself very much. Senior Su, you will be graduating in half a year. You should be remaining in the capital to work, right? At that time, I will invite you to my house. Jiao Nan could feel Su Shennan's care, love, and concern for her. Jiao Nan was someone with a biological sister. However, for 2 lifetimes, Jiao Zijin only had oppression and bullying for her. There was no care and concern at all. Their relationship did not resemble that of biological sisters. They resembled more like enemies from previous life who met again to continue the battle in this lifetime. Jiao Nan had never experienced what it felt to have an elder sister despite the existence of Jiao Zijin. Nevertheless, she finally experienced it from Su Shennan. It was very heartwarming to have an elder sister. Your house, your maternal families or in-laws, Su Shennan had to clarify. In-laws' house, maternal family? If it was possible, she did not even wish to return to her maternal family. Why would she invite her friends there? She did not wish to cover up the fact that she had a biological mother like Ding Ji and a biological sister like Jiao Zijin. However, she was not interested in airing her dirty linen in public. Fine, Su Shennan nodded and replied. She was a little curious as to why it had to be half a year after her graduation. At the thought of Jiao Nan's temperament, she believed that Jiao Nan would not do things without a reason. Hence, Su Shennan did not question further. She had been invited as a guest. Of course, she had to accommodate the timing of the host. You should know that I am graduating in half a year. You have to find a time when I am available, otherwise, I will reject you, and you can't push the blame to me. At this juncture, Su Shennan, who was joking with Jiao Nan, did not expect that Jiao Nan would give her such a big and pleasant surprise. Half a year later, 3 fair, chubby, fleshy, and nice-smelling babies with big eyes and pink tiny mouths. The little hands were grabbing things. 2 chubby legs squatted on the ground and stood up in an unsteady manner. They were shouting "Mama" with unclear pronunciation. It was only until that moment that Su Shennan finally found out that those well-meaning words that she said previously were wasted. She had said it too late. She was still concerned that Jiao Nan's man would not be able to control the beast in him and caused a life to be at stake. In actual fact, these 3 little lives were already born at that time. After Su Shennan visited her house half a year later, Xiao Nan parted ways with Su Shennan. It was approaching the end of the year and there were many joint ventures in Gao Yan's company. They were minor projects and not major ones. Although margins were low, sales would be high. Word of mouth would help build the company's publicity. Su Shennan had annual leave, and students like Xiao Nan only had about 1 month of school vacation. However, Su Shennan only had 1 week of leave. After taking into account the traveling time, she could only stay at home for 5 days. Nan Nan is back. Knowing that Xiao Nan's winter vacation was coming, Miao Jing did not look too happy. She even looked a little depressed. It's vacation time, the 3 babies will definitely be happy to see you at home. Xiao Nan put down her backpack, removed her coat, and washed her hands clean. She then carried San Bao, who had already been shouting ah, ah, for some time and fed her with milk. Mom, did anything happen? This, I think it's better if you take a look at them yourself. Miao Jing did not expect Xiao Nan to notice that something was amiss so quickly. Just right. Anyway, she could not make a decision. She might as well pass the items to Xiao Nan and let her decide for herself. Miao Jing passed 3 little red boxes to Xiao Nan. Xiao Nan was carrying San Bao with one hand as she opened the little boxes with the other. Inside the box lay a very exquisite and cute little bracelet. This is, from my dad. Yes, your dad got someone to send this here. At the mention of Jiao Dongliang, Miao Jing had a very odd expression on her face. She really took her hat off to Jiao Dongliang. During the initial stages of Xiao Nan's pregnancy, the Zai family and Xiao Nan hid the truth from the Xiao family. They did not break the news to them too early. Xiao Nan could hide the news during the initial stages of pregnancy but not when the children were born. As soon as the 3 babies were born, Miao Jing took the initiative to call the Xiao family the next day to inform Xiao Dongliang about the good news. Xiao Dongliang was the one who picked up the call. Once he heard that Xiao Nan had given birth to 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter, he sounded overjoyed. He even happily exclaimed that he was a maternal grandfather now, and Xiao Nan was really capable to give birth to 3 babies at one go. At that time, Miao Jing, who had just been promoted to a grandmother, was in a very good mood. She did not take issue that Xiao Dongliang was muddle-headed and sincerely wanted to share this good news with him. His maternal grandchildren were born and it was a joyous occasion of having triplets. As the maternal grandfather, Xiao Dongliang should be present, no? Bizarre it was, though. On the day of the triplets' full-month celebration, no one from the triplets' maternal family came. Fortunately, at that time, everyone was too focused on Xiao Nan and the triplets. They did not question much about who from the maternal grandparents' family came and what they gifted the children. Otherwise, Miao Jing felt that her in-laws would embarrass themselves very badly. Even if no one was coming, they should at least give them a call and explain the reason for not turning up, no?